What's up, y'all? Today we're going to go back to a classic format, synth speedrun, and I'm going to be doing the first ever synth speedrun on an actual synth VST, like sound making synth. Serum is a subtractive wavetable synthesizer. What that means is it uses wavetables, which are like little frames of a sound, and you can morph between different tables, which are all at the same pitch. And basically just go between these different frames of the wavetable. Then the subtractive part refers to you can remove certain frequencies or remove volume or add volume to shape your sound. There's also some more stuff you can do with the effects to do more shaping. From there, as fast as I can, I'm already at 2 minutes. What does Serum do? How do you use it? Man, this is a lot to cover. Okay, so first we have envelopes. Envelopes change the volume. I'm going to pitch this down and change it to an initialized saw. So as you can see, that's reducing volume over time. You can move these points to make different shapes. There's a hold there. So the envelopes modulate stuff. You can also put them on things like the wavetable position or the bend. And that bend changes the tone of the sound. So there's a bunch of different bends and things you can do in here. You can even FM from something like a B. So as you can see, that's doing like frequency modulation, there's amp modulation, there's ring modulation, there's FM from the noise, there's FM from the sub. You could even like FM from the sub over here, then FM from B, so you're like double FMing. But it does have to be on to work. And one more thing that I'll show with this is if you're FMing from B, this is kind of how this makes sense. As you change the oscillator you're FMing from, it changes the tone of the FMing. So, now the LFOs are kind of the same as the envelopes, except they just repeat. You can change the rate. Let me put this on the level so you can hear it more. You can change the shape. And then I'm just going to kind of go back to my original thing and talk about these oscillators for half a second. You can change the pitch. That goes in octaves. That goes in semitones, so you can change the note. Then this is fine pitch, which goes up and down one semitone. So one note up, one note down. You do have two of them though, so you could do like a chord. If you did all three, then the sub is basically like an oscillator that's super basic. So you only have those 5 shapes, the pan knob, which goes left to right ear, and the level knob. The noise, same thing as the sub. They both have a direct out, so that sends them past the post effects, past the filtering. This one just says noise. I'm not going to explain anything but that in there. I don't have the time. I'm out of time. Okay. What have I not explained yet? We'll talk about unison for half a second. Let me reset this preset. More voices. More width. Less width with the same amount of voices. Make my middle voice the loudest or quietest. Okay, that's that. Moving on, randomization. Where does this arrow start on the frame of the wavetable? Always start at that point if you turn it off. Where the randomization means how much random do you want? All the way across the whole wavetable or just this little percentage right here? Okay, going back. Phase. Oh, if you have the phase turned on, always start at the position it ended at last. That's basically what that means. Okay. Moving forward, I think I got that well covered. Okay, I got the LFOs covered. Moving into the filtering, take frequencies out. Anything inside the blue line is getting removed. Add some volume. Let me pitch this down and get a more interesting wavetable. Cut the high end out. Cut the low end out. Give it a little bump. Give it some loudness. Give it some fatness. I don't know what this really difference is here, but it does something. I think it mainly does something for the MG filter types. Okay, multi-filters. A band and a peak filter. Let's go to a double notch. No, let's go to a high notch. So high filter and a frequency notch sweep thing. Cutting frequencies out. Okay, so that's what the filtering does. It takes frequencies out of it. There's also like weird filters in here, like a flange filter. There's a reverb filter. There's a phaser filter. Sounds like a phaser. We have more stuff down here. The miscellaneous one, I'll just say, generally does weird stuff, but good stuff. That's an all-pass filter. French filter. In case you need it to sound more French. Okay, there's one thing that I want to talk about real quick. These little lights mean, is the sound going through here, through the filter? So if we have both of these turned on, it's filtering both. If I just want to filter B or A and not B, it only affects A there. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Moving into the effects. Bunch of different effects. This one makes it wider or more detuned. Almost like increasing the unison. This one expands the size of it. That's the quickest way I can explain it. This one distorts it. Especially if you add volume changes to it. Distortion is a volume dependent thing, so it distorts more. The more volume you have, or like at the higher volume points, there's more distortion. That'll be really evident with something like this. Okay, keeping it moving. Flanging. Kind of makes it swirly. Or just phasey. Filter literally makes, or phaser literally makes it phasey. If you didn't know, these mix knobs are how much of the effect you want. So this to the left means no chorus. As you turn it up, more chorus added. So this one is special. I'll just note there's a low pass filter on the chorus. So that means you could like chorus the bottom and then bring some of the highs back in. Chorus, phaser, and flanger are all three width effects, so they add width or do something interesting with the stereo, so the left and right channels are different. Okay, the delay. Adds a little delay. You can change the rate that it happens at. You can change how this left and right thing works by changing this delay mode here, and then there's also a little filter, so if you just wanted to do the top, there we go. That's how that works. They're all different. There's too much to cover in this one short tutorial. Okay, compressor. Make the louder part quieter using this attack and release settings. Attack means how quick should the signal get compressed. Release is how long should the signal be compressed for. Gain, used to take the quieter signal that you just made and make it loud again. It's a way to bring the signal together, to compress it, as it were. Then there's a multi-band compressor. Let me just initialize this. It's got 3 different compressors in it, 1 for each band, and this one does upwards and downwards compression. I'm not even going to talk about what that is. Just know you can pull the threshold up, make any sound really loud. Turn the tail up, or turn the release up, it'll kill the tail. Okay, that's it for that. Reverb. Make it sound like it's in a place. Could be a really big place, boomy place. Could be a really small place. Could be like a plate reverb, the antique plate, not antique, but like the classic plate reverb sound. EQing. That just increases frequencies wherever you have this little line go up at. You can see it right here. Let's make it sharp cuts so you can see it better. As you can see, removing frequencies, you could do a band. You could do like a sharper cut. You could add another band, and these are useful to have inside the synth because then you can modulate the frequencies. And all that stuff that I've showed so far, you can modulate almost every parameter in here. Last thing, second filter. Okay, we've almost done it, y'all. We have the mono setting. That means that you can only play one note at a time. As you can see, it's changing between them. Then we have legato, which means play mono, but don't reset the envelopes and LFOs unless you let the note go. So as you can see, that's how that works. Bend time. Should it be long? Or should it be short? And I think that's all I'm going to do for this one. The only thing that I will say going on from here is you can modulate different modulators. So if you have like LFO1, you could add LFO8 to it. Then basically the modulation that's being done here is being affected by this modulation source. A really quick example to show how this works would just be LFO1. And we'll put this onto here. And I'm going to change this to here. That means that macro 1 determines how much this LFO actually does anything. That first macro there is adjusting that, and you can do that with your own LFOs. You could do it with envelopes. With that being said, there are some more things to check out in here. There's some stuff down here. There's way more stuff as far as wavetable editing. You can definitely also drop your own sounds in and make your own wavetables. You can edit wavetables. You can do a bunch of crazy stuff. There's some more stuff in here. There's a sample browser here. Here's your 4 macro knobs. Those are used to do things that you can automate inside of your thing, or like set a specific knob on your controller to do those. Then the global tab has some useful things too. That's going to do it for this synth speedrun though, as fast as I can get it, 14 minutes. Hopefully I've explained stuff that helps you. So with that all being shown, let's jump into tier listing this. So Serum and Vital are 2 synths that I would say I recommend for anybody that's trying to learn synthesis, because all those little knob movement things and stuff have a little dot to show you where stuff is at. This, I would say, as far as sound quality, A tier, maybe S tier, but like as far as like utility and how valuable this was at the time that it was made and how useful it is now, I use this for probably like 60 to 80% of my sound design. S tier. I know there's other synths out there that do really cool stuff too, but for this particular one, I think it's worth making it S tier. So with all that, y'all, thank you for watching. Hopefully you got something useful out of this tutorial, and I will see you in the next one.